Hello everyone, welcome to my small little attic. So why are we in my attic? It is because the first question of this small little Q&A from King Lemon is, "Hi Bo, how many bags do you have?" I have 2 and I feel guilty already. So in this attic we have a bunch of boxes and yeah, let me just start counting. Hello everyone, before we go back into the attic where I count all of my boxes and all of the bags inside, I just wanted to tell you, for those of you who haven't seen the last 2 videos, I'm currently at home because we are all aware of the current world situation where we all stay at home. But I still want to try to make as many videos as possible in the next few weeks or months where we probably, or hopefully not that long, but where we have to stay at home, I will try to create as many videos as possible to keep all of you entertained. Obviously, being a bag reviewer, I usually have to either travel or go outside with the bags to test them, but I will probably just stick to Quicklooks and test them at home or in my garden outside. Maybe I will also go out in the woods to test them, but they won't be that in-depth like you are used to with my videos. Yeah, but as you can see, I'm at home, I'm healthy, and I hope you are healthy and safe at home as well. And yeah, let's start with the Q&A. Alright, before we start counting, as you can see here, I already mark all my boxes with the bags that are inside or aren't inside there anymore. So let's start counting. 1, 2, 3. So the next question from Flo on Insta is, how do you manage your home office in times of Corona? So as you can see here, this is basically my home office desk where I work. I have this big LG widescreen monitor. It's probably one of the best equipment investments in terms of editing, because you have a lot of screen real estate to manage your longer timeline and all of your windows. I work on a 2018 MacBook Pro 15-inch. It's okay. I need to work on it because most of the advertisement and film industry world, at least here in Germany, is all based on Mac workflow, so I stick to a MacBook Pro. I'm thinking about getting an iMac, but I'm not sure yet. I prefer my keyboard, my mechanical Poker 3 keyboard with my custom keycaps. There is a video about that in the info tab above. I'm still rocking the first generation Logitech MX Master. I have these studio monitors, boxes, loudspeakers, and attached to this is a CallDigit hub where I have all my USB ports on that. My audio goes through this hub. My monitor is attached via this hub, and then I have just one USB-C Thunderbolt 3 cable that goes into my MacBook Pro. But other than that, I have not much attached on my workstation. I have also some headphones if I want to monitor my editing via headphones. These are the COS Studio headphones. There's also a review in the info tab above. And yeah, I added everything on this workstation, on this desk. I have also a video with a small tour in this office. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Can you review the Peak Design travel backpack? My favorite backpack so far. Yeah, the Peak Design travel backpack has been on my wish list for quite a long time, and I really hope that I can review one of the Peak Design bags in the future, hopefully in this year. 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. So the next 2 questions are favorite TV show and favorite movie and why. As someone who really enjoys movies and TV series in general, I find it very difficult to answer because there are so many good shows and so many good movies. Maybe it would be easier if I say like favorite TV show and movie within the last 2 years. That makes it a little bit easier for me. I know it's a cop out, but yeah. The last series which had the most disappointing ending but was great overall is Game of Thrones. I really loved that series, and yeah, as I said, the last episodes or the last season was a little bit lackluster. If they had more time in terms of episodes, maybe 2 or 3 more episodes, that ending would have been better, or the whole storyline of the last season would have been better. But overall, I really enjoyed that series. I also lately have watched Picard. I'm a really fantasy and sci-fi nerd and comic book nerd, and I really like the Picard series. If you're a Star Trek fan, that series is pretty cool. I think the one movie that stuck with me the last few years, or the last 2 years, although I'm not sure, was it in the last 2 years or is that movie already older? That one was Logan. As mentioned, I'm a fantasy and science fiction and comic book fan, and Logan was a really refreshing comic book movie because it was darker, it had more grit to it in terms of character development. And I love Marvel movies, and Infinity War and Endgame, both great movies. In my humble opinion, I love Marvel movies, but Logan is a completely different type to me because it had more, went deeper into the character itself and the struggles that he was going through. So that was a really memorable movie in the last 2 or 3 years for me. Obviously, there are a lot of more good movies, but there are so many good movies that for me it is hard to think of one. Probably once I turn off this camera, I will think about another movie. But right on the spot right now, I think Logan to me was really entertaining. 29, 30 because there are 2, 31, 32, 33, 34. So the next question is Indonesian bag brand to look for. If you have seen a couple of videos back, I took a look at the Orbit Gear messenger bag, and I think Orbit Gear is a pretty interesting brand definitely to look out for because they use lots of high quality materials and the design is kind of futuristic, dystopian, and yeah, check them out. I think they have some cool stuff in there. I'm looking forward to review more bags from them. And speaking of Indonesia, can you upload all of your B-roll of the backpack factory visit? Loved seeing the machines. I recorded so much B-roll during that short documentary. I think that would be an overkill to upload all of that footage, but maybe I can, I don't know, edit something together in the future. 35, 36, 37, 38. Are you a fan of the Leatherman or Leatherman Multitool? I really like Leatherman Multitools. I had this small little Skeletool CS. I unfortunately lost that one. That one was my favorite small little multi-tool to always have in my pocket. I now switched to a Swiss Army knife Super Tinker, but I also own a Leatherman 3P2, I think it's called. You can see a video of that in the info tab above. I really like Leatherman tools and I love carrying them around, but because they have a knife that has a liner lock to it and you can basically open it with one hand, you aren't allowed by law to carry it around in Germany. That's why it's only in my tool case at home or somewhere around the house. For that, it's great. If your country allows to carry a multi-tool like that around, then I can highly recommend Leatherman multi-tools. 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45. So the next question is a bit of a difficult question to answer. It's, do you think EDC stuff must be expensive or cheap? Depends on the situation. Yeah, as you mentioned, it really depends on the situation. In Germany, there is a saying, and I think there's a similar saying in the US, if you buy cheap, you buy twice. Basically, it means if you buy cheap, you buy once for the item and then you buy again because the cheap item breaks, and then you have to buy the item that you should have bought in the first place. With EDC items, like for instance this knife, this is the James brand Alice. This is a very expensive knife compared to a Swiss Army knife because I feel like it's the Apple of the EDC world because it's so well designed and has a very nice aesthetic to it. And with that, with everything that has a great design, most of the time they're pretty expensive. But then on the other hand, you have a Swiss Army knife, which has a lot of tools. It's still very well made, but only costs like the fraction of a James brand. So it's a little bit, when it comes down to EDC items that are essentially tools that have to perform in specific situations, you obviously need something that is reliable. So that's a really hard question to answer. I feel like with bags, for me, it's easier to answer because due to the way they are produced, due to all of the different materials, the design and stuff like that, it seems more justifiable if a product becomes more expensive due to the material, as I said, due to the materials, more difficult stitching like Bartex stitching and stuff like that. So I am not educated in terms of how difficult it is to create a knife, but as mentioned, yeah, for me at least, in a bag, I at least can see if a bag is worth its price, because there seems to be more work involved in that. But I'm not 100% sure with that. So as you can see, I'm not 100% sure if any item always needs to be expensive to be good. There are obviously cheaper items that still perform the same way. So it really depends on your needs. The best that I can say is always inform yourself about that product. Always take a look at the negatives. Can you live or work around these negatives? Don't just only look at the positives of an item, rather concentrate on the negatives and then evaluate, can you live and work around these flaws, and is that item within your budget, and how do you want to use this item. And especially also take a look at how often do you use it. For instance, the bag, you will use that bag every single day to carry all of your items. As for a knife, depending on what you do, I'm not sure if you need to carry around an expensive knife, or because you don't use it that often, couldn't you just carry around a Swiss Army knife Super Tinker which only costs a fraction of this, but still good enough? Obviously, if you don't use a knife that often, maybe just go ahead and get the Super Tinker. That probably wasn't a very clear answer to your question, but I still hope it helped a little bit. 46, 47, 48. Hope you can do a review about the Quicklook in your spare time, sir. This is the Quicklook. I have already made a review about that. You can see the video link in the info tab above or in the description below. Will you upgrade to a bigger motorcycle? I'm currently riding the Yamaha MT-07, which is about 700cc motorcycle with around, I think it's like 70-ish horsepower. So for me at least, that's plenty of power in the city. and I'm still a beginner. I have been riding for 2 or 3 years around. This bike now has 18,000 although almost 19,000 kilometers on it, and I'm really happy with this bike. And to me, I think since this is my first bike, there's a lot of emotion attached to this bike, and I don't think that I want to exchange this for a different bike. I'd probably rather change the bike completely to my liking and have then a personal, unique motorcycle. Furthermore, I don't think that changing to a bigger motorcycle makes a lot of sense in the city, because it's more fun to ride a slow bike fast than a fast bike slow. So, and this is not slow by any means. It has a lot of torquiness to it, which makes it a lot of fun instead of like going really fast. I love this bike. I can highly recommend this bike for beginner or also for intermediate riders. It's a lot of fun, it's not that expensive, and as I said, I will probably change the bike completely in the future and make it my own. 49. Are you a sports fan, and do you have a favorite team? I'm not that much of a fan of team-based sports in particular. Since I have been doing a lot of martial arts in the past, I'm still currently doing ninjutsu and BJJ. That's why I would like to watch a lot of UFC, and there are a lot of good fighters that I like. I find Conor McGregor very entertaining, and I think GSP is also a great fighter. Also Cowboy Cerrone, I like watching his fights as well. But overall, I enjoy watching UFC a lot. 50, 51. So as you have seen, I have a lot of boxes with about 52 bags in here, and outside in my office there are probably a couple of more bags that I either am still using or that are supposed to be reviewed pretty soon. Yeah, so I have a bag problem, and with just 2 I think you are fine. Alright, thank you very much for watching this Q&A video. Don't forget to subscribe to my Instagram, where I post these announcement for Q&As where you can submit questions for these Q&As. And yeah, as mentioned, I hope that all of you are healthy and safe at home during these very strange times. Yeah, as you can see in the video, I'm good, I'm healthy, I'm staying at home, and I will try to put out as many videos as possible to be, on one hand, stay as productive as possible, and on the other hand, to keep all of you entertained since you're at home. Furthermore, don't forget, I am at home, so the next videos will probably only be quick looks of the bags that I have here waiting to be reviewed. But obviously I can't go outside and I can't go out traveling to properly test these bags. Furthermore, I am currently planning on a video that probably will be called "What's the Perfect Bag?" Yeah, I've been thinking about that a little bit the last few days, and I will record that in the next few days. So yeah, everyone stay safe, and like always, if you have any further questions, comment below. And if you enjoyed this video, click the like button, and please feel free to subscribe to my channel and click that little bell icon so you won't miss the next videos. Thank you very much.